Okay, abusunya be mama kwaba sonkoso ereba POG Media so. Yembonra eye jensemu no. Eye chairman Wontumi na sisi ano ne ho akwakoka adwemu. Abusunya John Dramani Mahama sisi a oral team no afile omo documenta omo de Akroma no na sisi ano chairman Wontumi edin apie ma sisi ano ne full evidence ne HSA ne papers a lawyer Martin Pebu eliki ababonte a HSA chama Wontumi no ayese prosecute no ne jailing because eba galamsey ho nsensema HSA ne criminal illegal act bi a waye no ayese John Dramani Mahama ne nsaka evidence ni na almost process na se HSA ye prosecute na abusuya sisi ano tension arise ewo NPP headquarters a enye execra yensa emomre no yenko na yenkonko tie ensema ekos na ansa na ebeko no se owo ensem kan bi afahye ye comment section ni mu like na share ma afofron so ensa into me enkebi aha POG Media so bedamase.
Mr. Kansi, this one is not oral, so I can talk about it. Later, maybe the people can choose to bring it under oral. Valco. Valco. Oh, no. It's terrible. You see, some time ago, Titus Glover was here, insulted us, you're a struggling lawyer. He was MD. Things that happened there. Well, so they were paying. Valco.
But you didn't get
we need a forensic audit of Valco. Forensic audit of Valco. Titus Glover was here insulting people. You're a struggling lawyer. You were MD of Valco. Things that happened there. The day of accountability will come.
Well, we'll wait. As you said, Monday, the report on your work will be submitted to the president. And that would be forwarded, we understand, to the Attorney General. And then the processes of prosecution will start. The concern or the conversation has been around what the next phase of this oral work would be, to the extent that if oral received so much public support because of the perceived weaknesses in the state institutions mandated to do what you did as a committee, then aren't we going back to the same problem? Because you have not been given prosecutory powers. Mm-hmm. You've just received information from the public, some of which you've gone to verify. You are then going to still go back to the AG. The AG will still have to use YOCO, CID, all the others, the judiciary for that matter, to still prosecute this. So what have we solved?
We've solved a lot. You remember, I've always called this decision a master stroke, right? Yeah, GM's decision to set up the committee as a master stroke. Let's handle it this way. You know, he got a huge mandate, right? Mm-hmm. Over 1.6 million, right? Mm-hmm. Because people were upset with the previous government. You know, Omampam, when you go and talk, they say, don't say Omampam.
Well, we don't have to.
Right? That's how people like it, right?
No.
Oh, yes. So that's why I said, we're told not to say. But even the time I said he was part of the criminal syndicate,
so
I was asked to withdraw, but later,
so let's stay on course. You said we withdrew it.
So, you see that there was so much despondency. Mm-hmm. And it was going to take at least another 1 month before GM would be sworn in. So there was that vacuum, huge vacuum. Don't forget, me sitting here, how many times haven't we complained about Chairman Wontumi, the Galamsey fight? We reported to Akuffo Dampare, he refused to do any work. He and, when I say refused to do any work, I'm talking about substantive work, taking the case to court. He and Faustina and Akuffo, they were doing politics. So, you see, even me, sitting here, how many times we call this case here, Dampare would not budge. And is there any wonder that today policemen are up in arms against him? A lot of despondency in the police service, saying that GM should sack him immediately. Otherwise, they will be fired, right? Mm-hmm. So this is a typical example. That even a case on the media here, Dampare would not do anything much here and Akuffo. So, it's just, a stereotype. Okay. Of the bigger problem, right? So people decided that, look, they want GM to begin to take their cases on. But here is the case, he is one person with limited energy, right? Mm-hmm. So he needed more people to come on board. And fortunately for us, the Whistleblowers Act allows the system so much so that you can even blow the whistle to your head of family.
Right.
The elders of your family, your MP, office of the president, etc. Of course, police and Yoko and the other ones are also listed there. So he saw that if the law allows even NGOs, the Mary Addo, that we've had the discussions. She was part of some of the previous discussions, and Okujeto pointed out that but Mary Addo, people come to you as an NGO to report to you, right? They know there is police, they know there is OSP, yet they come to you. So whistleblowing is part of, natural, I dare say, our culture. So JM just set it up to fill that vacuum. That okay, take your whistleblowing, take your complaints, take your petitions to the oral team, all right, so that they can begin to gather them, reorganize, etc. Whilst we prepare to take office, and then for the Attorney General to settle in.
Okay.
So hope, if he had left it, he had let that vacuum for this over 1 month, it wouldn't have been good at all for our democracy. So the first thing we shouldn't underestimate is that it signaled that he was going to walk his talk. Very huge signal that he was going to walk that talk, right? And true, you've seen, and I told you even the first week, I told you that based on information I was giving, remember it was an eye-opener for me when it comes to the work of the OSP. You know how I had largely supported Kisi Ejabin and the OSP this in here, right? But based on information I got in the first 1 week, then that support quickly dwindled because I saw that Akuffo had muscled Kisi, but Kisi didn't have enough courage to come out against Akuffo like Martin Amidu. So I was like, Kisi, I thought you were strong. You see how Amidu came out and specifically told us that Akuffo was stampeding him on the Japan report. Kisi came and was trying to be more nuanced. That's why I told Bobby Banson, my good friend, that over the years, he's also becoming more nuanced. No, the country needs straight talkers. Just put it back one time. Don't try to be nuanced. Try to be politically correct. The meaning will be lost. So I was like, Kisi, but if Akuffo is interfering in the work, be specific. Akuffo is interfering in this work. Simple. And you think, what can he do? And from that moment, you would know that even if you drop one drop of blood will hold Akuffo accountable. So why is Kisi scared and the whole system? So that's why I told you that. So for me here, sitting here, having gone on the grounds, it's made me a lot wiser. This is just one example. There's no time to go through other examples. So this oral thing, look, I maintain is a master stroke. Let's just continue to walk that talk. That stage 2, which will be the investigations and prosecutions, will also be good.
Right. Counsel, thank you. And Bobby Banson, does it really, based on the detail that a member of this preparatory committee has given and what the next phase will look like, does it answer the questions about any difference being made with this team and the work that they have done, being that interface between the citizens and the state institutions, even though there was still the Whistleblowers Act that enabled some sort of protection for whistleblowers to go into these institutions, which was not being done, but then the oral team received so much commendation and support and public trust that they have so much to even give to the president for onward prosecution.
Thank you. I was following Senior Table a lot. Then he threw in the issue of the nuance. I don't know whether to respond to that.
Now you are politically correct.
No, you can't.
You respond to that. I think that, and I've told you, Alfred, before, and these are discussions that I've had with Senior Table a lot of times. Sometimes you find yourself in a position where your fidelity is not to any political party. Your fidelity is to the law and your understanding and appreciation of it. You may be right, you may be wrong, but at the end of the day, you should walk away knowing that I said it the way I understood it. And I don't think that every person you invite here, you expect us to have the same opinion on a subject. There are some subjects where, because of judicial decisions, there are no dissent on it. We all agree. There are some subjects too where, because of judicial decisions, you have different interpretations. There are some that there are no judicial decisions at all. So it's subject to various interpretations,
Indeed.
depending on the facts that are available to whoever is interpreting it. And so, I mean, Mr. Pebu has said...
in fact, we put value on divergent views.
Yes.
It's important.
I'm just going to say, you know, when you started, you gave a lot of shout-outs, like we used to call it.
Indeed.
To a lot of your people. Still do. That is, you know, unfortunately, I don't have that following or constituency anywhere that I have to satisfy. My friend here, Godwin, sometimes we agree on issues. Sometimes we don't agree. When we don't agree, we don't agree.
That's it.
And, you know, but at the end of the day, we both know that...
That's the beauty,
Yes, you are saying it depending on the facts available to you.
Indeed.
And then your understanding of it. Now, you've asked the question, what is the next phase of oral? I don't think that any right-meaning Ghanaian would resist any attempt for probity and accountability. That is the cornerstone of our constitution. I mean, if for me, as young as I was during the times of the late President Rawlings, one thing that I heard my people speak about with you, when you mention Rawlings, you are talking about probity and accountability. And he doesn't mind whoever you are, whether in his party or not in his party. Those were his key words. And you see the Constitution cuts through all of it.
Yes.
Now, I was happy you mentioned the Whistleblowers Act. So as we speak now, the concept of oral is not new to our laws.
Yes.
It is not new to our laws at all. The Whistleblowers Act permitted persons who have information as to any form of wrongdoing or breaking the law. There is no limit. Anything that you think somebody else is doing to break the law, you can go and report. Now, the Whistleblowers Act provided for the persons that can receive such reports and what can be done after the report has been received. Indeed, a member of parliament is mentioned. So I was happy when the oral committee had a member of parliament. Indeed, the auditor general is mentioned. So I said, okay, at least there's a former auditor general. Indeed, the police service is mentioned. And so you say, okay, there is a former police, a very high-ranking former police officer who is on it. And then they say that there's you and then a journalist, Mr. Archer. Okay. Now, I was hoping that there would be some legal framework in line with the existing laws that will guide the ways of the committee. Now, the committee was not a commission of inquiry. The president could have set up and can still set up a commission of inquiry without waiting for a council of state.
Yeah.
Right.
If he thinks that this issue is of national interest, he can set up a commission of inquiry. Everybody will watch it.
Yeah.
The commission of inquiry would have the powers of the High Court. They will go through, I think Article 278 also speaks about it.
Yes.
But if you say you are doing whistleblowing, Senior, you know that under the Whistleblowers Act, whoever receives that report has a period of 7 days to submit it to the Attorney General. That is the law. Once you receive this report, you have a period of 7 days to give it to the Attorney General. At the time the committee was formed, we still had the former Attorney General in post. And so whatever report you receive, there is no way you were going to give it to the former Attorney General.
Yeah.
Of course, you had to wait for a new Attorney General to be set up. So there is the gap. I don't know when you started receiving the reports and whether you've actually forwarded it to the Attorney General. I'm hearing that you say you are going to forward it to the presidency. And now more importantly, sorry?
Say and to the Attorney General.
And to the Attorney General.
Yeah.
Okay, more importantly, Alfred, the Whistleblowers Act states that any such information that is given should be kept confidential.
Yes.
And if you go and disclose any information that you have received under the auspices of the whistleblowers, it's a crime. It's a crime.
Yeah.
And so some of the information that had been received by some persons or allegedly received that have found their way into public domain, that was where I was worried. Because the law the only law, I might say, that governs your work or gives some form of legitimacy to your work, provides the framework within which you would exercise that work. One of them is the 7 days. The other one, which I was very concerned about, is the confidentiality. Remember, they are not an investigative organ. They receive it, and then they carry it to an organ of the Attorney General, who will then forward it to the organ of the state that is responsible for investigations. And so if I come and tell you that, Senior, I have information that X person has acquired government land for 140,000 cedis, very outrageous amount. In the context of how much Lands Commission normally gives land, they will do premium, blah, 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 blah. I wasn't very happy when I saw that information come out. Because it is information that you received exercising certain authority under a certain law. And that law provides that when you receive it, you must keep it confidential and then take it to the Attorney General, who may then refer it to the appropriate institutions. Now, we have gone round, we are here. What do we do from here? I am hoping that once the Attorney General receives it, he is going to forward it to the necessary state agencies. I think those that can be investigated and prosecutions to be done at that state should be done. But I also think that going forward, especially I've heard thoughts about a private member's bill or a bill that would make sure that government appointees do not receive or do not buy lands or state assets. I think that we need a commission of inquiry.
A commission of inquiry?
Yes, I think.
Into the sale of public lands? Public
lands. For whatever period that we think that may be relevant under the discussion.
Okay.
So that the membership will not be seen as if it is only for political purposes. It will be presented as a national thing, so that every person or every such information, the provisions for the Commission of Inquiry would be able to go to, and recommendations will be made. That may be the basis of the next step. And they will be able to say that, for me, this is the legacy that was left from the work of this oral committee.
Okay.
And so I do not think that it should be only left to the Attorney General, but beyond that, now that His Excellency is actually the President, because at that time he was not, he can exercise that power under Article 278 to set up a commission of inquiry and then say that, okay, this issue of acquiring public lands and state lands, we want to, as a people, to be able to give directions. Remember, there's already a Supreme Court decision that says that a public officer is not necessarily prohibited from acquiring public property as long as he goes through the due process. Yes. And it's a Supreme Court decision. And it was given, the lead judgment was by your favorite, but you always give Akuffo.
Yeah.
You understand me? So if we have to, as a country, decide to depart from that Supreme Court decision or whatever comes with it, I think that a commission of inquiry would investigate these matters, come up with solutions and a report, and see the position of the presidency towards it. And so going forward, I think beyond submitting it to the Attorney General, the president may have to consider, because he doesn't need the Council of States to do this. He doesn't need Parliament to do this. He can do it on his own, to set up a committee that would undertake the hearing and inquiry into what has gone on over the years, and then give recommendations going forward.
So the legality of oral, that question is not in doubt. It's been settled, answered. It has its place in law.
For me, yes, it has its place in law. Except, like I said, that the way some of their activities was not done in accordance with the Whistleblowers Act.
Counsel.
Yes, so I think that we need to put matters in proper context. And the context gives us a better appreciation. First of all,
okay, abusunya wene ensema ekoso ewo political highway ne so chama Wontumi and a lawyer Martin Pebu edin the documents or bibia seti offer say or the Akroma John Dramani Mahama sisi a chama Wontumi ehun baby a onye no ohun de onye no abusunya beda masesa mo jepene kokoti sa audio no ede mai aha POG Media so beda masa.